High school sports, we've got it covered. Overtime starts now.
Hello and welcome to Overtime. I'm Drew Collins.
And I'm Scott Leber. It was a beautiful night for high school football, and every Friday night's a great night for a little overtime action, and we have a great show again.
A big battle in Pecatonica between DuPec and EPC, plus another key NUIC game in Forreston, and in the big Northern, Oregon hosting Dixon.
Plus, we'll go overtime with Tim Bailey on Nick 10 Talk with some of our mid-season thoughts on the conference, and our spotlight story on DeKalb standout and future Fighting Illini player Davon Grant.
We begin with a big game in the Nick 10 tonight, Guilford at Harlem. On paper, Scott, this game has everything a high school football fan could ask for.
Two very talented teams that can make big plays on offense and defense. It happened at Harlem. It is the Gillies Heating and Air Conditioning Game of the Week. Look at that crowd. What a great crowd, which we expected tonight for this huge game. Harlem with the ball in its opening drive in the pink jerseys. Braxton Fawcett goes one way, throws the other way. It's a screen to Briar Craig. Craig slips a tackle down the sideline. He's in there for the 28-yard TD. 7-0 Huskies early. After a Guilford field goal, Harlem comes back again. Ladarius Foster with a nice 6-yard TD. That made it 14-3 Harlem. Now Guilford needed a spark, and Chris Porter gave it to him. Number 7 here, going to cut back inside. He runs hard. Watch him step over a man, and he's down. Big play there, and that set up his next play. Messiah Tilson gets the carry off the edge. Good block. He's outside. He's got the speed, and he's got himself a touchdown from 22 yards out. It was 14-10. Harlem's still in the lead. Right before halftime, Fawcett loses the handle on the football. Jabril Benson scoops, and he will score a 40-yard TD. It was 17-14 Guilford in the lead at the half. Neither team able to throw deep until here in the third quarter. Fawcett for Jackson Cook, who has the size advantage and leaps for the 60-yard touchdown catch. It was 22-17 Harlem. What a grab there by Cook. Guilford, though, comes right back. Kevlin Jackson going to slip a tackle, and he's in there for a 4-yard TD, and Guilford at a 1-point lead, 23-22. Just over 5 minutes to play. Ladarius Foster up the middle, then busted outside. He had a coming out party tonight. He was huge. Harlem up 28-23. Grayson Weber, though, has time to go back to work, and he also has Keeson Taylor. Taylor with a catch and a big gain. Moments later, the Vikings will hand it off to that guy again, Porter. Chris Porter going to fight over the right side for the TD that put Guilford on top, 29-28 with under 3 minutes to go. Vikes going for 2. It's Porter again, and he fights in there. 31-28 Guilford. Porter celebrating and then having a little conversation with our camera. I love that. 6.9 seconds to go. 4th down for Harlem at the 40. Fawcett's got to chuck it, and he's got his man down there. It is Cook. He's well covered. He's got it, but he is out of bounds. Time expires. That's your bowl game. Guilford takes this one over Harlem, 31-28. Hey, tell me about the winning touchdown that that really did it.
We just knew we was gonna go into our bunch formation. I feel like Coach said, we're gonna out physical teams to win a game. And me and KJ told each other, we gotta call a game on this one. We get in there. He had a great block. Ronan had a great block. I got in there, punched it in, and that's game, man.
Let's just get right to that last play. Did you know they were going to go to Cook all the way? You were right there with him.
Oh, yeah, I already know who they're going to. He made a play earlier in the game, so I expect him to go to him again and make another play. But obviously he came up short on that one. But, they had a great game. He played a great game. Just go out there and have some fun.
But the grit and the heart and the fight, that's what really matters. And they just keep playing. And now that we've done it a couple times, now that becomes part of the DNA going forward.
All right, we need to spend some time discussing this one, and who better to do that with than our Nick 10 analyst and former Nick 10 standout, Tim Bailey. Tim, let's start with Chris Porter. He's my MVP tonight. Scores the winning touchdown, a lot of hard runs. I asked him after the game, why do you run so hard? How do you do that? And he's like, it's because you guys left me off your top 5 rushers in the conference at the start of the season.
Can't leave him off tonight.
No, Chris Porter, I think he launched up to number 1. But Tim, we talked about Chris last week after the Hananini game.
Yeah, we did.
He had my eyes popping out. What'd you think of his play?
What he did tonight, let's get this out of the way first. He's baby beast mode tonight. Mm-hmm. He really looked good. Just actually, with the second efforts that he had tonight, and just how he actually just got the team to actually just go to another level tonight. But the way he ran hard with the ball, Scott, tonight, just making great cuts, making good open field moves, and just his relentlessness to go down. There wasn't one guy that was going to stop him. Sometimes he had 2 or 3 guys on him, but he earned his paycheck tonight. So congrats to that young man. Young man, you are now in our top 5.
There were times it took like 4 or 5 pink jerseys to bring him down.
Yeah,
he was
he's
terrific.
low. He was a low, for sure.
All right, let's go to the last play of the game. Harlem firing towards the end zone to Jackson Cook, and Messiah Tilson was right there with him. 2 standouts. What did you think of that last play by Harlem and the coverage by Tilson?
I think that's what you want, in marquee games like this. I think you want, 2 great athletes matching up, going head-to-head, 6 seconds left on the clock. Who's going to come up with the ball? Unfortunately, Cook, he did make the catch, but he was out of bounds. But again, if you look at the film, Cook could have probably stayed more inside. I don't know what type of safety help they had over the top, but you got to give credit to the defense of Guilford of forcing him, as you see in this clip here, forcing Cook to the sideline. All 3 guys, those secondary guys, came over and squeezed him to that sideline. So that was probably planned by the defensive coordinator for Guilford.
All right, we saw deep ball there, but we didn't see a whole lot of that in this game. And these are 2 teams that love to throw deep and stretch the defenses. Why do you think, other than that last play and the 60-yard touchdown by Cook, why do you think we didn't see more deep balls tonight?
I think you got two of the best secondaries in our conference, maybe in the state. So you have those caliber of athletes back there on both sides of the ball. I think the coach, what both teams did have early in the game and also too late in the game, they had the actual run game. Harlan had a good run game tonight. Guilford had a good run game tonight. So I don't think it was a night to where they really needed to actually test with the deep balls. But obviously, when you see here, Cook came up with the big grab here. So that was the big test that we saw tonight. Fawcett was the actual first quarterback to throw that deep tonight and really forced Guilford to cover a good player like Cook downfield and really stretch that field.
All right, Tim, which team won the line of scrimmage tonight?
I think the team that won at the LOS tonight, you got to go with Guilford. Guilford got pressure. They got their hands on Fawcett a lot. I think he went down tonight Guilford had 3 sacks. And what they did at the end of the game they showed really great moxie at the end of the game on offense of actually lining up on that goal line and making sure that they were going to get in to go up by 2 points, get that 2-point conversion. So, kudos to Guilford. But Harlem should have nothing to hang their hat low about. They played a phenomenal game. Nothing to lament about if I'm a Harlem Husky tonight.
This game was everything I hoped it would be and better. Went down to the wire. If these 2 teams played each other 10 times, would each one win 5? Are they that even?
They're that good. They're that good. They're well coached, number one, and they have a bevy of playmakers on both sides of the ball. I mentioned that on my podcast the other night and said that, we're in for a treat, folks. Hopefully everybody got their treat tonight because it was that type of game, fellas.
All right, we are finished with this game, but we're not finished with Tim. We're going to have him back a little bit later in the show when we cover the rest of the Nick 10 and share some thoughts on the conference here at the midseason point.
Up next, we'll check in on some big games elsewhere in the Big Northern Conference and the NUIC. We'll head to Byron, Oregon, Forreston, and to a very big game at Pecatonica. The DuPec Rivermen won a key game last week against Galena. They kept the Rivermen undefeated and on top of the NUIC with Stockton.
Tonight, another key game for DuPec at home against a very good Eastland Pearl City team. EPC came in with a record of 3-1. Little handshakes, and let's get to the action. 4th down for EPC. And it's Hoffmaster rolling out, looking for Zy Haverland, but he couldn't corral it. They turned the ball over on downs. Quarter change now, still scoreless. Riverman Brady Moore gets the handoff, squirts free. Here he comes. He's into the red zone and then some before he is corralled and dragged down. Bit later, it's going to be Moore again. Little misdirection here. And he's going to head right for the end zone. Gets a block, and he is in there. 8-0 Rivermen early. EPC trying to respond with their game breaker. Draven Zier on the carry, but he has the ball pop loose. DuPec recovers. Big play there for the Rivermen. Lucas Rosso now going to find Caden Lunder on the receiver screen, and he'll get a nice pick up there. And that would allow Dermot Dolan to plow home for another Rivermen touchdown. He's got like 1 million of those already this season. DuPec shuts out EPC 38-0. Man, that's impressive. Another good NUIC matchup played out in Forreston tonight.
The Cardinals hosted the Galena Pirates. Tyler Sorensen was there. He joins us with the story of that game. Hi, Tyler.
Yeah, guys, both these teams had 3-1 records coming into this game. Now, the winner would stay in the hunt in the conference championship race, along with Stockton, Dupeck, and Lena Winslow. Now, Forston lost its opener to Lena Winslow, but since then, the Cardinals have been making good strides. But now, let's jump into the third quarter, where backup quarterback Connor Polish drops back, looking to find someone, and throws it up where it's intercepted by Galena's Roman Romer. He would take it 99 yards as they would score on the following play, making it 16-14 Forston. The next drive, quarterback Polish would take it himself, saying, "Get off me," to multiple people. He had a 70-yard run touchdown earlier, trying to repeat it, but he gets stripped by Jack Vincent, and the ball gets recovered by Galena Mason Smith. Now, following drive for Galena, Romer would drop back, getting chased out to his left, and he tries to throw it again for Smith, but it would get intercepted by Jonathan Milnes to try to make something happen. Now, Forston looking to capitalize, but the ball gets snapped, but nobody moves as Connor Polish would score. It looked like a miscommunication on the offensive line, but they would miss the two-point conversion, leaving the door open, 22-14. 7 seconds remaining. Galena looking to score. Romer rolling to his right, getting chased, trying to find somebody, and finds Smith in the back of the end zone, gets 2 feet in. Now, all Galena needs is a 2-point conversion to bring it to overtime. Now, Romer, as they score, Romer with the game in his hands, looks left, throws left, but it's dropped by Colton McCartney as the Forston Cardinals take this one 22-20. Now, guys, this game was a true dogfight between these two teams. And with how tight the NUIC conference is as a whole, it's going to be devastating to see one of these two teams miss out on the playoffs. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Tyler. Here are some more scores from the NUIC. Lewin defeats Fulton 47-6. Stockton beats Morrison 60-20. Let's go to Oregon now for the big game in the Big Northern. The Hawks against the Dixon Dukes. Both teams were 3-1. If you're hungry, you are in luck. Number 4, Landon Carnegie is about to deliver a 4-for-4 meal tonight. After the previous play, he scores to make it 35-0 at the half. Carnegie and the starters only played 2.5 quarters, and LJ still put up 4 touchdowns and 170 total yards. Let's show some love to number 34, Owen Belzer. He fields the kickoff, and he takes it all the way to the end zone. The Dukes were scoring in every way possible. And let's look at the Dixon blocking. I have to shout out the big boys in the trenches. Logan Mershon walks in untouched. Ladies and gentlemen, that is disciplined football. The Dukes walk into Oregon's house and win it 56-0. Over at Byron, the Tigers hosted Winnebago, and do not blink during these highlights. You might miss a Byron TD. Here's their first offensive play. Dawson Criddle gets a huge gain before being shoved out of bounds. And here's their second offensive play. They hand it off to Caden Considine. Check out the balance to stay on his feet, and he will find the end zone like he always does. Byron goes up by 7. After a great punt return from J.J. Edmondson, the Tigers run their third offensive play, and you probably guessed it, they score again, and again Caden Considine. The spin move in traffic was nasty by Mr. Considine. Load the box and try to stop the run, and then you forget they have Andrew Talbert under center. Check out the spiral, beautifully placed. Weston Oker has the grab. Byron takes this one 55-7. Also in the Big Northern, Genoa Kingston defeats North Boone 56-38. Stillman Valley beats Rock Falls 42-6. And in a non-conference game, Dakota defeats Lutheran 58-36.
Here's some more scores from around the area. Rochelle defeats LaSalle Peru 40-7. Sycamore beats Ottawa Township 35-7. Marengo defeated Plano 28-14. DeKalb falls to Lincoln Way Central 45-7. In 8-man football, South Beloit defeats Hiawatha 34-14. Aldrin Hebron beats Christian Life 51-18. Milledgeville defeated River Ridge 68-28, and Polo beat AFC 52-6, while Amboy rolls over Galva 66-6.
Before we do anything else, let's find out who won our Athlete of the Week contest.
Athlete of the Week is brought to you by McCloskey, Kessler and Associates. Our finalists were EPC's Draven Zier, Belvedere's Juan Cervantes, Dupex Dermont Dolan, and Guilford's Messiah Tilson.
And the winner is Juan Cervantes of the Belvedere Bucks in a landslide. Out of more than 10,000 votes, he received 71%. Congratulations, Juan. Watch out for a new contest on Monday.
We have a lot more Nick 10 action coming your way in a bit, and more with Tim Bailey.
But up next, I catch up with DeKalb standout Davon Grant. He'll trade in his DeKalb orange and black for the Fighting Illini orange and blue next year. Davon Grant is the big man on campus at DeKalb High School in terms of his size and talent. The next few years, Grant will be roaming the campus at the University of Illinois with the Fighting Illini. I caught up with Grant for our Spotlight story, brought to you by Rockford Career College. A sticker on the back of a helmet represents a lot for one of DeKalb's best players. The orange eye is displayed on the helmet of DeKalb's Davon Grant, one of the best players in the entire state. And Grant will represent the state at the next level in Champaign next year.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that challenging, you know. First couple of offers came through, getting texts, follows, everything from different coaches from different schools. There were some gives and tells that schools gave me that helped me make my decisions. That's another reason why I chose U of I too, because they see my vision, they understand, and they know how to utilize me and my size at the receiver position.
The 6'4", 200-pound high school senior has all the physicality traits and more. Head coach Derek Schneeman believes Davon could play very soon into his collegiate career in Champaign.
He's like a once-in-a-generation type kid, type talent that you get as a coach, and you know, obviously we're thrilled to have him. You know, he's going to go to Illinois, and I wouldn't be surprised if he played right away or played early. You know, from a physical standpoint, I think he's ready. You know, he's got the size certainly and the physicality to his game, but also mentally he's willing to work hard.
But before Grant takes his trip south to become a Fighting Illini, he has unfinished business for his high school career. Last year as a junior, he had 67 receptions for 1,106 yards alongside 7 touchdowns. And even as a sophomore, he was an honorable mention for the All-State team. Although he's a true receiver and will go to the next level as one, he's also an incredible athlete. And because of that, he has even stepped in as a running back this season. And when he's not rushing or receiving, you might think he's catching his breath, but that's just not the case. You'll find him on the defensive side of the ball as a safety. And he's so confident in his abilities on both sides of the ball, he believes at some point into his career, he could play both positions at the next level.
Defensively, you know, maybe collegiate level, second year, third year, you know, I might try to be like a secondary safety or something.
Grant puts in a ton of work on and off the field, but the Chicago-born native also credits his incredible athletic abilities to his basketball career. That career which will come to an end as he leaves for campus during the high school basketball season.
Man, basketball has been a key part. You know, basketball is the main reason why my name's out there and everything. So, you know, it's kind of hard to say goodbye to the sport, but I know it's not like a forever goodbye.
Anything can happen over the next 10 years, but if there's one thing Davon Grant sees himself doing in a decade, it is exactly what he's doing now, playing football.
10 years from now, I really do see myself either still playing, hopefully playing football, Lord willing, in the NFL still, you know, coming to a retirement soon, hopefully, or maybe not, still like being LeBron in the other NFL, you know, playing for like 15 more years, you know.
With his size, the Illini could use him in a lot of ways.
I'm going to miss seeing him on the basketball court, though, this winter because he's electrifying in that sport, too. More Nick 10 action up next, including a big game between Freeport and Hononegah.
And Tim Bailey joins us again for some mid-season thoughts on the conference.
While a lot of us were fixated tonight on the big Nick 10 game between Guilford and Harlem, there was another big one up in Rockton.
The Indians hosted 3-1 Freeport. Let's jump to the second quarter. Freeport's Thomas Olson back to pass. Scrambling, buying time, hauls it deep downfield, but it's intercepted by Alex Peterson. He's going to get a return here all the way to midfield. A very nice heads-up play there by the Hano defense. But Freeport is going to return the favor as Jamonte Jordan is going to pick off the pass. What a terrific snag in traffic. Late in the first half, Hano has it. Bryce Berg fakes it, throws it out right to Brady Jarvis, who's ducking and weaving his way all the way down to first and goal for the Indians as Johnny Rockford nearly gets taken out there. Now DeMarcus Prewitt will cash it in. Hononegah led 28-8. Halftime is over. Hano back with it. Drew Shockley. Pump fake, gets it over to the middle of the field, and that's Caleb Parker. He cuts back and fights for some more yards. And then Tyler Banker gets the handoff and fights and pushes and gets into the end zone, cash money. Hononegah wins it 35-8.
At Belvedere, the Bucks hosted Boylan. Belvedere's QB Jackson Sternquist in there. He's just a sophomore. He's going to throw a nice one. Good catch by Matthew Lazowski, who is down in Boylan territory. Sternquist again going to go to the air. This time just dumps it off to Demetrius Taborn, who catches it, and he's run out of bounds there. Boylan's Gavin Martina with the tackle. The Bucks settling for a field goal. Leonardo Andrade makes the kick. Bucks went up 24-7. And then after the kickoff here, the ball's going to be returned by Jason LeBeau, who will make a huge run. Whole lot of twists and turns in that, and he's going to go all the way for the touchdown. What a play by Boylan. Belvedere defeats Boylan 37-28. Tim rejoins us now, and let's look at the big picture things here with the Nick 10 since we've now passed the halfway point of the season. We have several questions of the night. Here's one. Which team is the surprise team of the Nick 10 so far this season? Tim.
I think the surprise team right now to me, guys, is really, Jefferson. Despite their record, what they've been able to do week in and week out, stay in games. They beat Boylan 2 weeks ago. They fell short the other night. But, I would say Jefferson right now is that team for me.
I agree. They've had a lot of injuries, but they've still battled.
I'm going to go with Belvedere with their win tonight. They're 2-3. Yeah. When I saw them against Guilford, they were very competitive. All right, next question. Which team has fallen short of your expectations this season?
Well, it's the Titans. Not sure what's going on over there. I think some things are broken. Hopefully they can get some things turned around here in the next few weeks. But right now, they're not looking very well. They're not looking like the Titans that they're expected to look like each and every year. So that's my team right now.
I agree with Tim, everything he said.
It's unanimous, Boylan. I thought they would be at least competitive, and they're not. Okay, our final question. Which player is your midseason Nick 10 MVP? This is a tough one.
My midseason MVP right now, you got to go with the young man who ran the ball hard tonight for Guilford.
Chris Porter.
You got to go with Porter. Baby beast mode, I call him. He earned that name, particularly tonight. But, what I've seen him do week in and week out, and he continues to do it. He's done it for the last 2 weeks. I got to go with that young man right now, fellas. I feel safe on that one.
Drew. I'll go Jackson Cook. Incredible on both sides of the ball and made plays, even tonight.
I'm going with Chris Porter, too, after what I saw tonight. I would not have said that before tonight, but after tonight, you take him off Guilford, they need that man in there running to make everything else work.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
he was that workhorse tonight for sure.
All right, Drew, take it away here.
Folks, as always, you can get more Nick 10 football information from Tim on the Bailey Pod. You can find a new episode on YouTube every Thursday. This week, he's joined by Guilford's Messiah Tillison and Grayson Weber and some guy named Scott Leber.
I've heard of that guy. All right,
great
thanks,
podcast.
Tim, for joining
Appreciate
us. We're going to see you again right back here next week.
All right.
All right, it's time for our Napleton Auto Group Play of the Night.
Top play caught on our cameras. We're actually going to go back to Thursday night, the Belvedere North Jefferson game, because I love this play. The pitch goes from Anthony Bucci to Eric Roman, who goes right back to the QB, Bucci. Bucci, watch him here bang off a Jayhawk. Boom. Bucci's tough to bring down. He's coming our way for the touchdown. Love that play call. Love that play execution. And that is the Napleton Auto Group Play of the Night. Next week, we'll be back again with you on Fox 39. Looks like this will again be our permanent home. We'll keep you posted on the time for next week.
A reminder, you can find highlights and scores anytime on our website, mystateline.com. It just takes a couple clicks or your mouse or finger. For now, that does it for this show.
Thanks for watching and enjoy your weekend.